Uh, Good morning. This is the lecture on data communication networks. Today we are having the topics networks, categories of the networks. Previously we have seen the network topology. We have seen the various five types of topology and arrangements of the geometric representation of the relationship of all the links and linking devices to each others. These categories of topology are can be classified by the different applications. According to them, they having the names. So the first topic, categories of networks. As we know that uh, there are various networks are operating within the different applications, and computer networks are created by the different identities. They having the standards needed to so that these heterogeneous networks can be communicate with one another, and the two best known standards are the OSI model, OSI model, and the Internet model. These are the layered framework structures, and currently OSI means Open System Interconnects model defined the 7 layers network, and the Internet model defines a 5 layer model. Before we are going in networks model, we have to learn the categories of the networks. Today when we speak of networks, we are generally referring uh, to two primary categories. First is the local area network. This is known as LAN. It is called L is local area network. L is refer for your local, or you can say A refer is area, or N is donated by networks. Local area networks. And the categories into which networks fall uh, is determined by its sizes. What type of sizes is created among the different groups of the communicating devices, they forming these networks, and the group of networks is constitutes the internet. So a lane normally covers an area less than 2 miles. It is covered the area less than 2 mile, while if you talk about the WAN, this is the WAN, it is worldwide. So when we talk about this devices LAN, MAN and WAN, we generally define the how much area we are going to cover for a network, and within the network how many devices can be operated without uh, failure. So as the name suggests, L is locally operated networks. So the local area networks is known as LAN. And while when we are see the globe of the earth, there are so many different countries, so many peoples, and around they are having the very huge networks. So we having a special type network is called WAN, worldwide network. Networks of the size in between are normally referred to as metropolitan area networks and the span tens of miles. If we talk about see this man, man is normally metropolitan area network. So you have, see, this is metro, the where the population density is above the 1 crore peoples, and they having the huge they required a very huge network facilities. So this type of metro main devices is used in a metropolitan cities. This main is covered like city Delhi, Chennai, Madras, Calcutta, metropolitan area. So local area network, if you see LAN, is usually privately owned and links the devices into a single office, buildings or campus, a technical institutes or universities, or you can say research lab, etc. And this is depending on the needs of on the organization and the types of the technology which we have used. A lane, a lane be as simple to say two communicating PCs, means your desktop and a printer in somewhere in the homes or in your office, and it can be extended rough out a you can say in a you having company, it can be extended and include the you can also include the audio and video peripherals. Currently land size is limited to a few kilometers, and if you talk about the connection, या communicating uh, figure, या referring figures, or you can say how the links devices are shown. It is normally given by the you having a central hub. There is a output ports, which is are normally connecting the communicating devices to this central hub. This is the hub, and this hub is connecting through the devices like this fashion. Another device is placed here, and you can see this is like this way. This is connecting by this way, and this is connecting by it is the figure of an isolated lane connecting by the 9 computers to a hub in a this hub sets. If you're numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this one is 9. So it's shown the how the n number of limited computer can be connected in a small area. The resources were to be shared can include like a hardware such as you can say printers, softwares, and applications programs, or something data. It can be exchanged within this local area network. A common example of LAN found in many business environments links a work group of tasks related computer, for example engineering work workstation, or in a bank for the accounting or collecting the money and distributing the money. One of the computer may be given a large capacity disk drive, hard drive, and may become a server to the clients. Software can be stored on this central server and uses as need by the whole group. In this example, the size of the lane may be determined by the license. licensing restriction on the number of users licensed to access the operating systems. In addition to size of lanes are distinguished from other types of network by their transmission media and topology. In general, a given lane will use only one type of transmission medium. Normally we have connected this lane through the one types of the transmission, like coaxial wire, you can say optical fiber, twisted pair wires. The most lane topologies are bus, ring, star. Earlier lanes has data rates in the 4 to 16 megabytes per second. Primarily 4 to 16 megabytes is more than sufficient, but as the higher the demands of the you can see bits rates data requirements, so megabytes per second is insufficient for using to utilize your lane. Today is we are normally used to 100 to 1000 megabyte. 100 to 1000 megabytes per second lanes are using to communicate or sharing the your data as well as your information from one place to another place. So if you recap the lane, uh, there is three main characteristics. First is there are three main characteristics. First for the lane is, you always remember, first is the size, okay. Second is the transmission topology, okay. Transmission transmission topology. Topology. And third is, sorry, it is the transmission technology. This is the transmission technology. This is your network topology. Third is your network topology. You know there are five different types of topology: bus, ring, star, and mesh topology. There is a tree topology as well. When you using the two different topology, they are forming the hybrid topologies. So, the according to this, we are having the mainly lane for operating now currently up to 10 gigabytes per second. So move towards the another network categories, that is the metropolitan area network. Metropolitan area network is basically a bigger version of LAN and normally uses this similar technology. It might be cover a group of nearby corporate office of a, or you can say city, might be either a private or public. The main reason of even distinguishing mains as a special categories is that its standards has been adopted for them, and it is called DQDB, distributed queuing dual bus. Distinguish, if you move and see how it is different the others categories, that is nothing but DQDB. So what is the DQDB? Distributed queuing dual box. D stand for distributed queuing box. Queue D for dual box. If you want the example, the best example of main is the cable television network available in many cities, almost cities. The system grew up from earlier communicating antenna system in the areas with a poor television reception. In this earlier system, a large antenna was placed on the top of your buildings or nearby the hill, and the signal was then piped to the subscriber houses. At first there were a locally designed ad hoc systems. Then the companies began jumping into the business, getting contract from the city governments to wire up and the entire city. And the next step was television programming, and the even entire channel were designed for cable only, but from their inception until the this is the talking about the late 1990s, they are intended for the television reception only. When the internet attract a mass audience, the cable TV network operator begin to realize that with some changes to the system, and they 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 provide two-way internet services in unused part of the spectrum. Actually, where the your reception is weak or it cannot be reached, this is the area we can enhance the capability of your reception to provide your user in a remote area, and at that point the cable TV system begin to march from a way to distribute television to the metropolitan area networks. On the first approximation, the main might look something like this system. uh, if you want, if you see in a row, there are the three rows like this, and the houses like are connected this. For simplicity we have taken only four houses. Same is here. This is house, it is represented by house. This is also represented by house. So this is also a house. This one is house. This one is house. ओके, तीन वायर्स हैं ऐसे केबल के, और ये हाउसेस आर इंटरकनेक्टेड दिस हाउसेस to provide the links, and these cables are again connected with the junction box. ठीक, there is a कई सारे अगर घर रहे तो इनके लिए एक लाइन में जितने वायर्स यहाँ से यहाँ तक गए एक जंक्शन बॉक्स दिया जाएगा. ये दिस इज कॉल्ड जंक्शन बॉक्स. जंक्शन जंक्शन बॉक्स, और again this junction box are connected in one point. That point is called head and head and terminals, and this head and terminals are connected with the internet. This is connected with the internet and connected with the your antenna. This is time. Okay, your antenna. This is the antenna, So you can see there are the one you सो कॉल्ड एक मोहल्ला है, एक सिटी है, एक शहर है, और ये एक एरिया है जहाँ पे कई सारे घर हैं। ये घर एक वायर से कनेक्टेड है जिसको हमने जंक्शन से कनेक्ट किया। ये दूसरा घर है दूसरी जगह पे, दूसरी ये कनेक्टेड इससे। जितने भी वायर्स कनेक्टेड हैं ये आके एक मेन जंक्शन, हर एक एरिया का एक जंक्शन बॉक्स हेड एंड से कनेक्ट होगा। ये हेड एंड 2 पॉइंट से कनेक्ट होगा। एक होगा एंटीना पॉइंट्स और एक होगा इंटरनेट। एंटीना पॉइंट जहां से ये रिसेप्शन रिसीव करेगा और हेड एंड को देगा। यहाँ पे इंटरनेट होगा जो सारे हाउसेस को जो इस वायर से केबल से कनेक्टेड है इनके अंदर नेटवर्क्स को प्रोवाइड करेगा। सो दिस इज द you can say example of main area net metropolitan area network. This is the based on cable TV. Cable TV. If you move towards the third categories of the WAN, that is the worldwide network. Worldwide networks. The worldwide networks span a large geographical area. Often you can say the country or a continental. It contains a collections of machine intended for running users. For running user means that is the application programs, and it will be follow the traditional uses and call these machines host. The hosts are connected by a communication subnet, and hosts are owned by the customer, that is the peoples of personal computers, whereas the communication subnet is typically owned and operated by the telephone companies or internet service provider. So whenever we have using the WAN wide area networks, there is a one service provider is called IP. That IP is the internet service provider. For example, Reliance, Jio, or Airtel, BSNL, Vodafone. So many examples are there. And this IP, internet service provider, the job of the subnet is to carry the masses from host to host, means communicating devices like PC, computer, laptop, your other communicating printers, just as the telephone system carries the word from speak to listener, and separation of the pure communication aspect of the network. The subnet from the application aspect is the host, and greatly simplify the complete network design. So the wide area networks consist of the subnet, it having the two components. One is the transmission line and another is the switching elements. Transmission lines moves the bits between the machine. It is the communicating path. It is like wires, cable transmission media, and they can made of wires, optical fiber, even radio links. So when is having two components. One is transmission line and another one is switching elements. Transmission line is the connecting transmission media and switching element is the routers. Today we have this switching networks, yeah, elements are known switching techniques. This is the specialized computer that connect the three or more transmission lines. When the data arrived on a incoming line, and switching element must choose an outgoing line on which it forward. Then this switching computer is also known as routers. Uh, Actually, this is the switching element is the one of the uh, bigger topic. So today we have ending this, and again we have started with in the next topic uh, from the vein categories, and we will see this switching elements. Thank you very much.